It is August 16th, 2012. This is Push the Lane. I am Nick Allen, and I'm joined by the bowl cut king, James Reilman. How you doing, man?
Boom! I'm doing fantastic. IPL Face Off was this weekend. After a couple of several rough starts, we finally got things underway. It was a very fun time. If you guys were able to attend, I hope you had a good time. But I have been able to rest, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fantastic. Getting right off to things. The Asian teams, kind of a disappointment, taking 7th and 8th place. They showed us some nice things, but they really struggled, and I think they're a little overrated right now.
I don't think they're overrated. I just think they're out of their element. And the Asian teams traveled 36 hours to get to the venue. Once they got there, 2 Singapore Sentinels players got sick with food poisoning.
They
almost died. So it just wasn't a good environment for them. And the travel time, the jet lag, and then just the style of North America playing it slow, going against all of these things. They just weren't in shape to perform well. They were at like 50%, and that's pretty generous in my opinion.
Yeah, no, there were clearly some issues, and they did show us a lot of really cool things. Messiah for World Elite looked phenomenal at times. Singapore Sentinels, they had a couple of unusual strategies they were trying to run, but I don't think they have the right experience for the NA and EU teams. I do think that the Korean teams are still phenomenal. Azubu Blaze in particular is a powerhouse, but I do think that coming into the Season 2 championship, we're going to see World Elite and we're going to see Singapore Sentinels struggling. So we'll see how they can adjust to things, but I think for the time being, they're kind of out of their element.
Yeah, moving right along, we're going to talk about how right I was last week regarding TSM, possibly the best team in the world. They lost 1 game at Face Off to Orbit, so go ahead and tell me how right I was.
Let's just, throw it all on, just all the pile of crap right on top of you. I do give in. You were right to accept, though you did pick Singapore Sentinels, and I'm holding you to that.
All right.
But the big thing to consider, TSM, they did look very strong, and I think, I think there's still the EU teams and the Korean teams to worry about. CLG EU, M5, Azubu Blaze. We don't know how they're going to face off against them. We don't know how they're going to face off against CLG and Dignitas, who are going to be coming back with supposedly a number of really crazy strategies for the NA regionals. But yeah, they're definitely less strong. I think Reginald, his aggressive kind of play style, it worked all weekend. We'll see how it works against some of these other teams. If he's going to be diving right into the middle of a team as TF against a tanky comp, that might not be quite as beneficial.
Yeah, I think TSM is playing extremely well. When they lost to Azubu Blaze 5-0, they weren't really taking the game all that seriously. Since then, they put their head down, they're practicing really hard, and they realize that they need to play a lot to be able to compete with some of these stronger teams like Azubu Blaze, like CLGU, and like Moscow 5. So they know, they have their eyes set on the goal, and they know how hard they need to work. So coming into the regionals, they're gonna absolutely dominate.
Yeah, I mean, Reginald's Karthus in the Curse games just absolutely blew them out of the water. KX as well looked phenomenal all tournament. But with that being said, who are some of your favorite champions for the tournament of IPL Face Off? Personally, I like those 80 carries.
Nah, I'm not even a fan about the 80 carries, man. It's all about the jungle. We saw Maokai absolutely dominating. We get the boots of mobility on Maokai, and what he does is he ganks so hard that a bot lane is able to snowball, and that's why you saw the 80 carry so prominent at IPL Face Off, is because the help from these jungle champions coming in and allowing them to get those early kills and just really excelling going into the late game.
Yeah, I mean, Nunu in particular, really great counter jungling. The ability to weave in and out of enemy turrets was really impressive and on display. But the 80 carries, Corky, just staggering how impressive he was. A lot of that has to do with Chaos in particular. But as a whole, he has a nice mix of true damage and magic damage. And I think a big thing to consider is LAN tournaments, the games get a little bit longer into the games. Teams are playing tankier teams than they play online, and the games last longer. So Corky's the definite right mix of damage. Ezreal, on the other hand, he doesn't quite have the damage output to deal with some of these tanky teams, so even though he's been very successful online at controlling the lane and snowballing the games, he couldn't quite make things work.
All right, moving along. The circuit rankings have been really strongly influenced because of IPL Face Off, so most underrated and most overrated teams. Go.
All right, well, first off, for underrated for me, clearly Legion was really impressive, but I have Orbit, and Orbit, they looked phenomenal. They didn't, take home the win like Legion did, but they had their game plan coming into the game. They were the only team to take a game off of TSM the entire tournament. So that's something to really consider. Nubby Pooh Bear in the mid lane, he's been playing Gragas for a while, and other teams are just now catching on to that. Oriana as well, really impressive play. Nian Tonso has been very strong. So I'm looking to them to succeed in the future. Dynamic, on the other hand, really disappointing, and they're very close to finding themselves out of the NA regionals. If they have a poor showing at MLG and a couple of these other bottom tier teams are able to step up, then Dynamic could very easily find themselves out.
For me, TSM Evo is this team that is a little bit too overrated. They have a ton of circuit points from all of their past history experience going into this event. So I don't think they're going to be doing really well. They've had a lot of team changes lately. Aphromu left, went over to MTWNA. They picked up Mashme. There's been a lot of strife on the team. There's a lot of conflict. They've been arguing and bickering a lot. So they're not going to perform well at all. But Legion, look out for them. They're looking amazing right now. They're coming with this Azubu Blaze strat. They're playing really, really aggressive in that early game. And I think Legion is the most underrated team and that we should definitely look out for.
Wasn't it KX that said over the weekend that Demon Law, he thought Demon Law was top 5 AD carry in the world? And Legion, Loud and Mortis looked very strong. Wild Turtle subbing in for them was definitely a winner for them that weekend. But that is it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Push the lane. I'm James Reilman at Baroncast.
I'm Nick Allen, IGN. So make sure you tune into the Reddit thread that's just going to be posted in. Argue with us. Tell us what you think. Tell us how wrong or right I am. And just completely ignore Baron. And we'll see you next week.
Ow.